Howdy folks and welcome to Brain Rotters. We have so much to talk about when it comes to the new Shang Chi movie that has just premiered tonight. We're going to be talking about the post-credit scene and how it ground breaks the MCU when it comes to the Eternals having a connection to the rings. And we will be talking about why Bruce Banner has reverted back from his Professor Hulk form. Stay with me, there's a lot to talk about here. So Wong and Bruce tell us in this post-credit scene that the rings, when worn by Shang Chi, were instantaneously activating a beacon that is sent out into the universe. Now, Bruce confirms that the rings, their energy, and everything that they are made of are older than anything he's really ever seen before, which connects to the Eternals in the form of the Celestial we saw in the most recent Eternals trailer. I want you to notice the color scheme of the rings' energy and then this Celestial's color scheme. They are almost one of the same. Celestials, as Ego told us in Guardians 2, are old, millions upon hundreds of millions of years old, and the rings are said to be of an unknown age, but older than anything we've seen in the MCU so far. Then what if the Celestials and the 10 rings are one of the same age? What we know about the Celestials is that they like to experiment with life and materials in the comics. In fact, it's Eson the Searcher that wiped out an entire planet and life that he created in Guardians 1 because of his little experiment with life on that planet. It just wasn't working out. So the Celestials like to create. So what if the Celestials in Eternals sent the 10 rings to Earth as an experiment to see how humanity would handle them? What if even the 10 rings were sent to Earth for the pure use of evil and a catalyst for chaos? Think about it. Wong explains to us that it is only when Shang-Chi handled the rings that the beacon inside was then activated. What if that beacon was implanted in there as a way for the Celestial to then know when the rings were in the wrong hands and now it's time to come and collect or wipe out the user to then pass the rings on to someone else? Because when the Mandarin had the rings, everything was totally fine. It was only when Shang-Chi picked up the rings that it now became a universal threat because the beacon activated. Hey, you made it this far, you might as well subscribe if you're new, as well as hitting that bell for notifications so you don't miss another video just like this one. Now from there, maybe that's when the deviants wake up because the beacon alerts from the Celestial to wake up and come collect the rings. Now the deviants being the villains of Eternals, what if when the rings were passed on to a new user, they were then woken up too? And when the deviants are around, then the Eternals return to Earth. Something needs to wake the deviants up though, and if the rings are connected interdimensionally to the Celestial, then who's to say they aren't connected to the deviants as well? And that prompts the Celestial to then mobilize the Eternals. Maybe the Eternals have a little side quest of themselves to not only defeat the deviants but return the rings to the Celestial. Now we have to talk about the fact that Bruce Banner in this post-credit scene looks a lot like Bruce, is actually Bruce and not his Endgame Hulk self. He said he merged both Hulk and Bruce together. Apparently that was a happy agreement, but as of the post-credit scene now, that doesn't seem to be the case. But now that sets up Hulk and Bruce and She-Hulk series to now have the same disagreement as to who is in charge. That means we will get a little more of our Savage Hulk that we know and love in the series. As per the other post-credit scene, I won't talk much about Xialing being the head of the 10 rings, but I will talk about her effect and how she will be the catalyst of expanding the empire of the 10 rings further in the MCU. First, I think with her new empire in the sequel, we will see her clean house of all the bad guys, so to speak, and institute the new legion she has all around the world. And we will get to see whatever impact that takes place in the sequel. It could even add conflict to the sequel where we see Shang-Chi have to go up against members of the previous 10 Rings clan, the Loyalists, who refused to accept the New Order, which could be a lead-in to the introduction of Zhengzhou from the comics, who is Shang-Chi's archenemy. He was actually Shang-Chi's father in the comics, so maybe we could see him be a long-lost evil child of the Mandarin who is angry that the Mandarin is now dead and that everything his father's built has collapsed, and in it himself too. But who knows what direction they will take it. It wouldn't be Marvel's first crack at the long-lost evil sibling thing, and the Mandarin has thousands of years under his belt. Who's to say that he didn't have another child within the past 40 or 50 years? What do you think? Thank you all so much for watching. What do you think of this post-credit scene breakdown? If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. The channel is full of this content, same kind of deal, and there will be new ones, so don't miss out on that. Thank you all again for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Let's talk all about it.